the new boss, same as the old boss? As administrations change, what won't? Let's ask the author of Battlefield America, The War on the American People, John W. Whitehead, founder and president of the Rutherford Institute, a nonpartisan nonprofit group committed to the principles of the Constitution and Bill of Rights, and RT's own Lee Camp, thoughtful, witty, sharp-elbowed host of Redacted Tonight here. John, glass half full, we call them civil servants. Glass half empty, they've been characterized as the deep state. Either way, they stay as presidents come and go. How much, John, can any president steer the ship of state?
Well, like I say, there's always a shadow behind the presidents and politicians, and you call it the deep state. But if you look at the facts, I mean, under the Biden administration, I mean, we call it the Obama-Biden administration. I mean, they were doing threat assessments, started threat assessments on homes. The NSA started their Five Eyes program around the world, where they set up a global surveillance state. They're downloading millions of phone calls annually. All of our information is downloaded. SWAT team raids, militarization of the police, 80,000 SWAT team raids going on in America annually, upping the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows the president to point at somebody and say, you can be taken away. You don't see your lawyer or your family into a detention camp. We had a case like that, by the way, where we saved a veteran who was that happened to. The purchase of hollow point bullets under the Obama-Biden administration, that's even been up during the Trump administration. They bought 1.6 million hollow point bullets from the ATK Corporation. And now there are 175,000 federal agents running around the country. The Smithsonian Institution, Department of Agriculture has SWAT teams and hollow point bullets and all this stuff. So, I mean, it's going to continue because they have the power now. And again, most people are not paying attention to what's going on in our country, which is we moved into a total militarized state. At any point, I'm telling people, they can clamp down, close the door, and wipe you out. And that's why I'm encouraging, if people are going to do something, please do it properly, do nonviolent protests, organize them well like Martin Luther King did, and people like that. And we can see some change in this country and get involved locally, by the way. The 10th Amendment, most people don't know the Bill of Rights. The 10th Amendment says, hey, you can nullify the Constitution, man. Get your local governments down there and say, we're not going to put up with a lot of this stuff we're seeing coming down. We disagree with our police having a grenade launcher. We're not going to put up with that stuff.
Hey, John, ever since you said hollow tip bullets for the ag department, I'm going to have bad dreams. Lee, Central Casting presents Donald Trump as a friend to big business, and Joe Biden fighting for the little guy. Candidate Trump warned us that if Biden won, the markets would crash, and they immediately went on setting records for consecutive days. Will corporate clout take a hit under the new regime? Or will the boardroom simply amp up the do-re-mi that continues to ensure its influence?
Yeah. They're both corporate candidates. They're both essentially owned and operated by Wall Street. I mean, the main problem that kind of corporate America had with Donald Trump was that he wasn't a clean, stable CEO for America Incorporated. That's really the only problem. In terms of the actual, on the ground functioning of Wall Street, it didn't change much under Trump. He just gave him a tax break. It's not going to change much under Biden. I mean, the Democrats and Republicans came together to give Wall Street $4.25 trillion during this pandemic, and probably more to come. Those things are not going to change, and it's the same with the endless wars, really, and our military state. I thought I was going to be the only comedian on the show here, but that first guest you had certainly filled the role, calling Iran the largest sponsor of state sponsor of terrorism. No, my friend, that's the good old American government. We drop roughly a bomb every 12 minutes on foreign countries. Under Obama, his final year, it was around 30,000 that year. Trump's first year, it was over 40,000. We are by far the largest state sponsor of terror. So, I got some good laughs in that first guest.
Well, I'm still verklempt about the Ag Department with the hollow points. But Lee, what else, despite bold Biden promises, do you expect to just continue as business as usual for the next 4 years?
Well, yeah, I mean, so much of it, and this has gone for this isn't just a Biden thing. This has gone for the two parties for a few decades now, where they agree on 80%, 90% of the structural issues of this country, and that all basically continues. A large Princeton study found that when the American people want something that does not align with corporate America, it has nearly a 0% chance of happening. Basically, never happens unless it aligns with corporate America. Our system has been bought out from under us, and that is how it works now. And so another, I'd say the largest and most crucial example of what's unlikely to change much is around climate change and the environment. Biden will give speeches, unlike Trump, about how Trump's a climate arsonist, he called him, and how Trump's not doing enough about climate change. But the Paris Accords had no teeth in them, nothing to make sure anything happened. And if you look at the countries that are still in the Paris Agreement, they haven't met any of the standards, any of the agreed upon measures. So really nothing changes. You just get a few speeches from Democrats saying that they're going to care about climate change while California is literally on fire. Our states are on fire, and we can't get these politicians to do anything that doesn't just reward big business, big fossil fuels, big fracking. I mean, it's insane.
John, former Obama administration chief of staff and eventual Chicago mayor Rahm Emanuel reckoned you never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that is it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not before. John, candidate Biden vows to hit the ground running on the pandemic. He says President Trump bungled. John, has the government exploited this coronavirus crisis, or could it?
Oh, it already has, by the way. You have to understand, under the Trump administration, Trump gave $23 million to 7 major corporations to develop an artificial intelligence system that will track our bodies wherever we go. So the things that began with this COVID in terms of digital identity are going to increase. And where surveillance used to be outside of our bodies, surveillance is going to be inside our bodies eventually. And that's where it's going. And if you look at Google, who works for the NSA, their program of singularity, which they say by 2029, the human mind is going to fuse with artificial intelligence. You've got Elon Musk with his Neuralink, which will be inserted into your prefrontal lobe, and you'll connect to your computer. Everything that you're seeing on your screen is going to be fed into your head. So what's going to happen, instead of the systems that we have now being extensions of us, we're going to become extensions of the systems, the artificial intelligence. And listen, if you don't back up and get educated and get alarmed over this and push back on some of this stuff, we're going to be a population that will not be able to tell the difference between a fact and a lie, even if it's put in front of us. If the system is controlling things, and the NSA, like I said, has established a worldwide system called their 5 programs, where they've got bases all over the world. They meet annually with 17 major countries across the world to continue the surveillance, China, Russia, and those systems. So we're basically today, anything we do or see, and here's the other thing I've noticed that when we handle a lot of cases in this area, is the paranoia that comes out of the government. They're really heavy into predictive policing now, trying to predict whether or not we're commit a crime. When you have Google, by the way, turning over information to local police now on what you say and do on the internet, we're up Poop Creek without much of a paddle. So we're up against an amazing foe, and your Lee is right. There was a Princeton study that showed, they did 20 years of study of laws and policies passed in Washington, D.C., along with Northwestern University professors. They came to the conclusion that we're ruled by 585 billionaires who control the system, with the 430 federal agencies, and listen to this, over 1,000 military bases around the world. No president coming in can run 430 federal agencies or 1,000 bases around the world. So ask the question, folks, who's really running the show? Is it you or somebody else you can't see?
Yeah, I see life turning into that Tom Cruise flick Minority Report. And remember, Alexa is always listening. Otherwise, how would she know you said her name? Lee, I'm down to a minute, but I got to ask you, we're talking pretty serious stuff here. And one of the reasons I've been looking forward to catching up with you is to ask about your craft as a professional comedian. What was funny a year ago that is no longer funny now and may never be funny again?
Oh, man, I would say that, something that people still seem to find a little funny that is not funny at all that is happening right now is Trump is a catastrophe on so many levels. Yet what he's tried to do right now and for the past year or so is take a lot of troops out of various areas around the world. And we've actually seen the military proudly say that they've lied to him. They've hidden where the troops are. They've played a shell game. They've moved the troops around, telling him they've withdrawn them. They've done everything they can to make sure the president does not have control over where these troops are and pulling troops out. I mean, that should terrify everyone, whether you love Trump or not. It's not funny anymore.